EA dropped the deep dive for Road to Glory in College Football 26 today, so here's everything you need to know about the game mode. So just like last year, you will choose your starting journey, Elite, which is a 5-star, down to Underdog, which is a 2-star. The difference is this year you can, go from a 5-star down to a 2-star or a 2-star up to a 5-star depending on your high school play, but we are going to get into that here in a second. Also, just like last year, you can only choose from 5 positions: quarterback, halfback, wide receiver, Mike, linebacker or middle linebacker, and cornerback. There are, however, new archetypes, as you can see on your screen right here. This shows 4 quarterback archetypes where previously there was only 3. You will have a lot more customization options when you create your player. Obviously, that's partly because high school is now in the game. You can see this guy is on Lake Oswego. I have no idea if I said that correctly. There are 6 high schools you can choose from in terms of the jerseys and the mascots, I believe, but you can use Team Builder to import a team you've created. So basically you have unlimited options. And then also you can see here when it comes to, player customization and personality, there's a ton they added to CFB 26, ball carry style, run style, quarterback shotgun stance. You can see several there on the screen. So once you start playing in high school, you will have a tape score. The tape score is basically just how well you are playing on the field. Each school has a scholarship threshold, and basically your tape score has to exceed the scholarship threshold to get a scholarship offer from that school. Your tape score will vary from school to school though. This is what is called your assessed tape score. It's how you are viewed by the school, and it's going to vary based on how you fit into the program and their scheme. And a school scholarship threshold might change throughout the season as well. You can see here it's shaped by multiple factors, including team prestige, scheme fit, your motivations, proximity to campus, team needs, your answers in scenarios, and other off-field decisions. And then it says, and while you focus on your journey, the world of college football continues to evolve around you. Seniors graduate, new recruits commit, coaches change jobs, and players enter the transfer portal. So this is awesome. Some players are going to commit to schools that you're considering committing to. You're going to be able to see the seniors that those schools are losing. And because of these things that are happening, the threshold for a scholarship at a certain school might go up or down based on what they need and how, the world of college football around them is changing. Maybe they hire a new coach and they change their scheme, and now you're not a good fit for that program anymore. I think something like that can happen in College Football 26 and Road to Glory. So that's super cool. You can have up to 10 schools on your recruiting board at any time, and it sounds like you can remove, add, or swap these schools at any time, so you're not locked into these 10 schools that you choose. And you can see from these pictures that it lets you see a lot of things about these schools, like the current depth chart, your projected role, who they are recruiting, and you can see the program's full assessment of your tape. So how does actually playing in high school work? No, you cannot play full games. I know it's disappointing, but as you can see on your screen, you will have different moments to choose from for each game. There are 5 games, and for each of those 5 games, you will choose 4 moments. Each moment has a basic goal attached to it and a harder goal. And how well you perform in these moments will add to your tape score and then help you get scholarship offers. These moments consist of different types of real-life scenarios, but they could be like a go-ahead scoring drive or flipping the field position after being pinned deep. And the moments you have to choose from are tied to your archetype. And across all the archetypes, it says there are over 700 unique moments in the game. But obviously, if you're just playing quarterback, you're not going to get to experience all 700. And then it's going to be even more specific to your actual archetype. So it sounds like there's a lot of variety of moments, but maybe not, because if everybody's just playing, quarterback, you're probably going to have way less than the 700 to actually experience. As I said before, your star rating can change throughout your high school career, so you can go, up from a 2-star to a 5-star or vice versa. And it says your final star rating has major consequences. It directly affects the strength of scholarship offers you receive, and it determines your starting attributes and abilities once you reach college. Players who finish as a 4 or 5-star recruit will also unlock the ability to select an additional mental ability before leaving high school. And just like last year, it'll trigger off the field scenarios like this, where James Franklin, is reaching out to you. So coaches will reach out to you, high school classmates will reach out to you. I think even the media will reach out to you, and how you answer these questions and deal with these scenarios will affect, how you are recruited. And this specific scenario you can see on your screen is called a highlight moment. So basically it's just one of those moments that you get to choose from in high school, but it's tied to a specific school. So here you can see is one of those highlight moments it lets you choose from, except this one is specifically from Texas. And you can see the benefit of these highlight moments there on the side. It says school tape score boost is 6 times or times 6. So essentially if you do this moment really well, it's going to be a massive tape score boost for you, but only for Texas specifically. It's going to have less of a boost for the other schools. They're not even listed there. So I think the idea is if you perform well, obviously it's great for, Texas, but if you don't perform well, it was kind of a waste of time because it didn't help you basically with any school. And not every scholarship is equal in this game, so there are different tiers for scholarships. You can see that higher tier scholarships comes with some of these bonuses. Stronger starting values in your academics, brand, leadership, and training meters, additional XP, extra skill points, and higher starting coach trust. So even if you are offered a scholarship, it can go up and down tiers based on your star rating and how you are performing. If you are worried about a scholarship tier dropping and the offer getting worse, then you can verbally commit to a school, and when you do that, it locks the scholarship at what it is. So it'll remain the same tier and you'll receive the same benefits and it can't change. But then you can actually decommit, but doing that is not necessarily the greatest decision if you do plan on maybe wanting to go to that school, because the tape score threshold will increase if you try to commit to them again. So you're going to have to earn more tape score to commit there. And not only that, you can actually lose offers if you fall below their threshold. So if you haven't committed yet and maybe you're performing poorly and you fall below the threshold, they can take away an offer, take it back, revoke it. Also, maybe you're a quarterback and a different quarterback ends up committing to the school you're interested in. Now the tape score is going to have to be higher. That threshold is going to be higher because they're not as interested in a quarterback. And this is the recruiting process that I'm really excited for. This is actually sounds really, really cool. And I said before, if you ever watch any of my videos, I want a legit recruiting process in Road to Glory. And it actually seems like that is in this game. Once you hit senior night during high school, I assume it's probably your last game, you have to cut your top 10 down to your top 3, and those will be the 3 schools you choose from on signing day. And then like I said, on signing day you choose one of those 3 schools. You can fake them out, you can pick up one hat and throw it off the table or set it back down and choose a different one, but you will choose one of those 3 schools to actually go and play college football for. And that brings us to the college portion. This will probably be a smaller part of the video because most of this is largely the same from this last year in college football 25. You will still have to earn coach trust to, trigger position battles and to become a starter and all of that. You still have to balance your weekly agenda between, studying and the weight room and socializing to build your brand. But one thing they did mention that I like is that the meters for these different decisions and for the different areas you can spend your time in will increase or fall more dramatically. So if you choose one or the other, it's going to be a bigger decision than it was in college football 25. And that was one of the complaints I had, is that it wasn't really hard to choose and balance your schedule because you could easily do all of the areas pretty easily and without consequences. But now it sounds like maybe there will be consequences if you choose one or the other. So that's good because that's how it actually should be. And just like Dynasty mode, there are season and career health meters they have to worry about. So this is the wear and tear portion. So you have to ensure that you are, healthy and aren't banged up because it could affect your season, but it could also affect you long term, even across your career. So like I said, Coach Trust is obviously back, but they did expand on it a little bit. As you can see, it's not just simply about winning your position. As you earn more Coach Trust, you'll unlock new abilities on the field, including greater access to the playbook and more control at the line of scrimmage, so you can unlock play swaps, increased number of plays, audibles, hot routes, quarterback protections, defensive adjustments. That's for defense only. And so as you earn more coach trust, you'll be able to use these things. And it kind of makes sense. They were saying as the coach trusts you more, it gives you, the ability to do more things because the coach trusts you. It's somewhat realistic, if the coach doesn't trust you, you might have a super limited playbook. So there's realism in there, but at the same time, kind of not, because I don't think, their coach is just going to be like, hey, you literally can't audible, you literally can't hot route. but there's a little bit of realism in there, and it makes coach trust more important. In addition to coach trust, there is an all new coach happiness meter as well, which is going to be separate from coach trust. So while coach trust is looking at kind of long-term growth and the bigger picture, like your career as a whole, coach happiness is going to be more zoomed in, more specific week to week and game to game. So coach happiness fluctuates week to week and game to game. If it's high, it'll progress through coach trust faster. If it drops too low, your coach trust slows. You may begin to lose trust each week, and if things get bad enough, you could be benched or demoted entirely. Once you've lost your depth chart spot, you'll need to compete in a position battle again to earn it back. So coach happiness directly affects the coach trust. If your coach is happy with you, you can progress through the coach trust kind of at a regular normal speed, or maybe even a little bit of a quicker speed. But if your coach happiness drops, then your coach is also going to stop trusting you as much. You might get benched, you might, fall down in the depth chart, and then you have to redo the position battles, but it says you can only do that if your coach happiness goes back up. And they say it doesn't matter how good you are or how dominant you are on the field, if you're becoming a distraction to the program or you aren't taking care of business, then you're going to fall out of favor with your coach. And I think that's kind of the point. We've seen like super talented players in real life who keep getting in trouble like off the field or doing stupid things. And so even though the coach might trust them as like a literal football player on the field, they're not happy with them. They can't trust them overall. It's just like a human being. And I think that's how this coach happiness meter plays into effect here in Road to Glory. Coach happiness is affected by game performance, your meters, so like your GPA and leadership and all of that, the off the field scenarios, and then practice. Also new in College Football 26 is the player grade, which can be seen in the top left. I think this is their take on the teammate grade, I think it was called, for 2K in my player. It's definitely interesting. Some of the things they've added that are kind of from 2K are definitely because of Scott O'Gallagher, who used to work at 2K. I think that's definitely why these things are in the game, like this play grade, as well as the on-the-fly substitutions like they've had in 2K. That's now in this game. I think that's definitely because of Scott O. So obviously the play grade is rating your play on the field, and if it falls to an F, you will be benched, and if you get to return, you'll start at a D+. So basically if you mess up again and fall back to an F, you'll just get benched again. I imagine it's pretty hard to fall all the way to an F, but maybe if you're playing on Heisman, that's not the case, and it can definitely happen. It's very possible. So we'll see, but I like the fact that it actually matters. If it falls to an F, there's actually consequences for that. And your play grade also determines if you gain or lose followers after the game, gain or lose coach trust, and increase or decrease your coach happiness, as well as player XP. And I think that basically covers all of the new things. There's a little bit of a revamp with the player progression, like how you upgrade your player. And Trophy Room is now in Road to Glory as well, so if you win the Heisman or any other awards, they will be in there. And then obviously you can export your player into Madden and continue your career. So there's definitely a lot of change coming to Road to Glory, and I think for the most part it's all good stuff. High school being back is awesome. I love the sound of the recruiting process. Like, it actually sounds like there is a legit recruiting process. You can commit, you can decommit, you can get scholarships, you can lose scholarships. As they said in the blog, there's like a whole college football world around you that's still moving while you're playing and making decisions. So if somebody else commits to your school, or if a coach gets fired or whatever, that's going to affect your recruitment process. The biggest thing I don't like is that I don't get to play the full high school games. You only get to play those 4 moments across 5 games, so 20 moments total. And we'll see how different the college part of Road to Glory is. I'm scared it's going to be basically the same thing as last year with a little bit of, a few minor changes. Even if high school is fun and cool, obviously that's a shorter, smaller part of Road to Glory. It's a big part, it's an important part, but you're only there for a few games, whereas you're going to be at your college for 4 years. So I'm hoping the college part is enjoyable and has, replayability, so it's not just like you get into it once and you never play it again. So it's definitely better, but we'll have to see how much better. We might just stick to Dynasty mode like we did last year if Road to Glory isn't that fun again. So thank you for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Follow me on all socials at TubbyCFB and subscribe here if you want to stay updated on College Football 26.